go through the pack in a minute and show you what's in the pack. But more than that, I just want to have a quick word with you about the actual idea behind it. Well, the concept is pretty easy. I've got a Snugpak Cocoon to go over my hammock. For me personally, it's not quite enough. Even for the summer, I wished I'd have had some kind of extra sleeping bag and definitely a pad inside with me. I've taken the insulation and added to it, and the plan was, excuse me a minute, flies, to add to it with clothing, because you don't really need a sleeping bag inside a cocoon, just with additional layering of clothing. I'm going to set up, it's super simple, the cinch bottles that arrived, which can't be used tonight, and that is a big disappointment for me. Oh, and I'll tell you also about this when it comes to brew time. You won't believe what I've done. Okay, I brought with me my little pick, 310 grams, it's not going to break the bank there. I can take this off now. But I'd rather this than a little shovel. This, awesome, awesome. And I'm glad to see somebody else, another subscriber, has treated themselves to one and also enjoys it. This is the Sagasso tarp. It's the jungle storm tarp, this. And I have 4 RS stakes in it and all the cordage I need. That's super simple to erect the way I've set it up. And I'm setting mine up with daisy chains here and beaners, and these are really great if you are carrying a load on the hammock already, like I am. The cocoon is already on the hammock, there's no need for it to be compressed. 2 built-in rocket pockets there on the side, all the molly attachment loops you're going to need here on the front. This is a patrol pack for Northern Ireland, that's the IRR there in DPM, as you can see. And on the bottom I just have my 3/4 length army self-inflating mat for tonight. Okay, now then, I'm on a bit of an incline here, so I've got head level up here and about chest level on this one here, and my bash system is integrated straight into the carabiner at the tree end of the suspension here. On the ridgeline I have a series of things such as a prusik loop, another prusik loop coming to a gear storage which is on the ridgeline. Now this used to sit behind the seat of my car. Little mesh drinks holder, put your can of pop in there. Pocket on Velcro there. That's my nightlight holder. .9 kilos. Snugpak Cocoon 1950. Hammock itself I'm not too sure, probably 360 grams. Haven't weighed the tarp. And I'm guessing about between 600 and 800 grams just for the self-inflating mat. Now the guy lines have been stowed in these little girl hairbands, them elasticated types, which is put on a lark's head here. Very handy, very practical. Now I've step counted this at nearly 5 metre span. Now the Sagasso rain tarp itself is 3.2 metres and about 2 or 3 loops I could have used to expand even more. I'd say pretty much the same the other end. Unfortunately the 10th Wonder Sagasso tarp is no longer available. I have an elevated pitch on the porch side here which faces the morning sun, and it's just been tied off onto a stick. And head side right I've put a trucker's hitch into a nearby tree here. Now I'm going to share with you a little secret with knot tying and tarps. Now a trucker's hitch is used primarily to make some tension. Now I personally just start it off with a slip knot so I can adjust the loop. This pigtail in my left hand is what's going around the tree and back to this loop. And I just start pulling on this pigtail and it all starts to tension, and I can just tie off in another quick release slip knot behind it. So what's so special about that? Absolutely no need for the first loop. That's what I'm going to try and explain to you. Let's take it all apart. So I made this overhand loop, but further down on the top, here's the corner of the top. Well, what do you know? I already have a loop. There's no need for me to make one. No need to make a loop. Got one here. Pull all I want. Pinch all the lines together. Just tie a quick release loop behind it like that. That's as tight as a drum. If it needs any adjustment at all, I want to be doing it before the sun goes down. I'm going to remove my knife. In most regards, this kind of setup, a basher, is quite common. It's been strung out at the same height as the suspension comes off the tree. I don't particularly like that method, but it is the most common and most practiced. Why don't I like it? It comes from up here. It's the height of this here, the top of the ridge line. I'm always having to reach very high from a lying down position to get anything or to put anything away. The other alternative would be to bring the basher down and set it independently of the suspension, but that would mean extra cordage for me, and I just haven't got it until I see my mate over at my supply centre. The east side of the wing here, look how close it is. If I just put my knee resting on the hammock, it's almost touching the hammock. You can see I have just a small span of air draft here. Even the slightest breeze in the middle of the night, especially if the temperatures have come down even 3 or 4 degrees from daytime temperatures, makes a radical difference, and it makes a radical difference to just how warm you're going to sleep. Now this cocoon is insulated. It's all you need. The cocoon is a one-piece insulation, and it's great for the summer. I'm going to sneeze. Hang on. Just edited that out. Yeah, so it's a one-piece insulation. Big banana. Just zip it straight down the middle. Even zip it over your face and cocoon yourself. And there's people on YouTube who've taken this out. They're well wrapped up in jumpers and hats, and they can get this down almost to 0 degrees, freezing in Celsius. Closest I've got was 4 degrees, but I wasn't dressed for it. It was more or less how I am now, t-shirt and just some sensible fatigues. It's all gone into 30 litres for a summer set out. Brilliant 30 litres. Wished I'd have put it in a 50. It would have been just easier to carry. So tonight's secondary insulation comes from a SOFTIES suit, a 2-part wearable system, which is jacket and trousers. I have brought with me a Norgie also and wool hat. For secondary bottom insulation, I brought with me the 3/4 length self-inflating army mat, and that's it. So let's have a look at tonight's secondary insulation. bottom part and top. Here we have the 3/4 length Army self-inflating mat. Now this time I have brought it out in its compression sack only because it was carried attached under the pack. Had this have been packed inside the pack, I wouldn't bother with the stuff sack, it would be perfectly dry. So that, put that over there, waiting to be inflated. And then the 2-part system here, and I'm not going to put the pants part on, but I'll just slip the top on for you. Okay, now it's tan coloured on one side and the olive on the other, so you can wear it either way with that. Now I'm going to put these sections here actually inside my sleep shelter for the evening. Now what I was saying before about the ridge being too high to reach, this is why I've made my system a 3-part tarp basher, so I can slacken the centre ridge line down and collapse it. Just give it some slack. There you have it. Everything has now been brought lower down, more accessible. Yeah, slide everything along. This is on Prusix. This, I think I'll have that somewhere there in the middle. Bring my little motor with its leather sheath, bring that, push that over to the head end up there. I'm going to dig in the pack. I've got a little night burner. It's a little tea light candle, and that's what that little purple carabiner was for, to hang my evening illumination. Now it is said that little tea light like this will burn for 3.5 hours. Optimistic, but even at 2 hours it's fine. So I bought with me additional refills in the pack here. I bought a fair few. There's hours worth of illumination there. I've just got a beer tin, cut the metal off it and taped it so it makes a tube of replacement evening illumination. I've had to refill the cook stove fuel bottle. I've had about 8 camp outs of one bottle, burning roughly 4 to 6 times a day. So let's call it, let's split the difference, 5 burns a day for 8 days, and it was just coming down to the bottom here. I could have got maybe another 2 days out of it, but just to be safe I've topped it off. Only of course to the safety line there, because it needs to build pressure for it to work. A little homemade pot lid. Jesus, the flies are really getting on my nerves now. A little pot lid there, so that is a clue to what's coming up next. So I'm just preheating the stove here, and I've got my trusty old pan, and you recall me saying I might have something to show you or tell you about regarding my water. Well, I'll tell you now. Pump this up. I took a swig of water on the way up and realised that last week when I was out I'd put some fruit juice concentrate into the bottle to walk home with the intention of putting fresh water in ready for the following week, and all I did was top this off with water tonight and walked in with this kind of fruit concentrate in the water. So we're going to have a fruity Costa coffee. New one on me, might be nice. Now I haven't actually got a Leatherman or any kind of tool kit like that, but I do carry a tool kit just for my stove really. It does come with a kind of tool, a little needle to pierce the jet, things like that. Full screwdriver set. Something's up with this. Little pliers, it's got a torch on, a little knife on, crosshead and flat on that one. So I do have a mini toolkit when I come out. Right, I'm going to have to sort this little stove out. It's spluttering now. So most of the jobs are in order now. The tea light lantern has been hung. I just need to dig a lighter out and keep it with that. I have a thermometer with me. Now it used to have an external sensor, but it stopped working, so I just pulled it off. But it will give me an inside temperature. Other jobs in order I need to do is this here. Get the 3/4 length in. Everyone rolls these into their stuff sack just because it is round at the bottom here. They roll it. I find it far more beneficial to fold it and put it in. And I only carry stuff sacks if the kit is going to be carried externally. There you have it. So just because something is round in your stuff sack doesn't mean that you have to keep it round. Sometimes you can keep it flat and put it in a round bag, and it's a lot easier. It's a self-inflator, but it will need an additional few breaths. So you let the air in and it expands the memory foam. Add a few extra breaths through here and it'll stay inflated. Now I was out with this, I can't remember when. It wasn't a filmed one, it's just one of my overnighters for myself. And I did bring this along. And I put it in. I was toasty warm all night, and I'd forgot to blow it up. But the memory foam does a good job anyway, luckily. So my abode for the evening, I'm going to taste this coffee made with extract of fruit juice added to the water. I'm not looking forward to it. It's neither here nor there. It's definitely altered the taste of a good coffee. It's drinkable, it's drinkable. So I have allowed for a luxury item. Remember, I've only got 30 litres to the pack, and it carries this pretty well. Given the choice, I'd have put it in a 50. It would have been even easier to carry. The weight would have been more displaced, but 30 litres for the Irish patrol pack, Northern Ireland, sorry, patrol pack, and it was fine. So luxury item, let's dive in and have a look. I'm going to keep my water nearby. I just leave it pretty much here on the floor where it can be got at easy in the morning, and it's right at the bottom of the pack. Oh, there you have it. It's a little pillow. It's only a few grams, and it used to come in a stuff sack, as you can imagine, and really small, but it's light. That's what I like. And I do tend to get a kind of crick neck in the morning in a hammock, unless I have some kind of pillow. So you're thinking, well, why didn't I just roll up my Norgie and use that as a pillow? Could have done easily. But I'm giving myself a luxury item. I could have counted this as my luxury item, but I'm not. I think a bit of nighttime illumination is essential, not a luxury. And you may have thought that my little digging pick would be a luxury, but it's not. It's a necessity. Again, if you want to bring a folding trowel to do your digging work, go for it, lad, go for it. To me, they're awkward. They pinch my skin, you know, on the locks and start digging. I've had one really pinch my skin, but I'm not bringing something that size just to dig a cat hole. And of course, it's dual purpose. It has a little hammer on the other side where it's just easy to knock the tent stakes in. Oh, that's a nice old walk in. Tired me out. I'm glad of my little lie down. I'm not into sleeping bags in a hammock anymore. Not when I could just wear something. And I was going to do a whole mini series of wearables for the Cocoon, but with the Cocoon being nearly 2 kilos and all the gubbins that go around, I'm not sure it's worth it, and I'll tell you for why. Yesterday when I packed all this, I initially put the Snugpak, what's it called, the Jungle sleeping bag, their version of a Jungle sleeping bag. The zip on it is dire. I have never had a zip on anything snag as much as the zip on the Snugpak Jungle sleeping bag. A love of a jumper and a thick pair of socks is going to be more beneficial to you than any kind of jungle sleeping bag. So, I'm getting quite cosy. Regarding the 3/4 length inflatable, I'm using the British Army version, which stays put in the hammock while you sleep on it, which is brilliant. Now I do have the consumer version, and it is similar to a vinyl material. It's smooth to touch, it's slippy. That's why I put mine into a fleece sleeping bag liner, stop it moving about. I've got a Boy Scout fire lay ready for the morning, and I'm going to put the match straight into here. Fire's not actually required, it's just more for my comfort. Morning, 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 morning. Very strange experience. Give me a minute. Just see. I had to vent last night, unzip this, and then unzip down here on the trousers. It was boiling hot, and dozed off eventually. Not sleeping too good the last few nights. Don't know why. But I woke up a bit cold. Now the underside, fine. That little 3/4 length is doing the job. I'd rather these than a sleeping bag any day. The days of a sleeping bag, I think, are gone for me. I bet you I fell asleep with them all unzipped. That's what it was. And just woke up chilled. Now, what I didn't tell you last night is that I would be using the Cocoon unzipped and just in its under blanket configuration. So it did have a proper test. I'm going to put a brew on in a minute. Just have a quick little warm up while I deassemble camp and strike down. At least it's something for the portfolio. Now I can know what kind of temperatures I don't need a sleeping layer or top section of insulation to. So there is another system I want to use which is based on the sleeping bags, but it's really, really heavy when I tested it out, and it's more for colder weather than this. The Snugpak Cocoon, it's been around with me for the last few years, but it always needs an extra sleeping bag. Although it does a brilliant job of keeping shoulders and knees warm, which is a problem I have. So I've ordered myself an expedition hammock, a proper hammock with all the bells and whistles. It was quite a lot of money, but I'm not getting any younger, and I certainly want kit comfortable enough for the next 10-15 years. I've got a top quilt coming, it's a down one, and that will finish off my super light system. I definitely would use clothing over a sleeping bag. Definitely. So all this year I've been collecting data. What temperature it was, what time it was when I woke up, how did I feel when it woke up, what system did I take out at what temperature. So I can composite all that data now into a workable unit where I can look at actual written data and say, well, I got away with a wool blanket on this occasion and the temperature was, and I can look again and see, and I can think, well, I can marry that up with, say, wearables, and I'll take it out in such a pack because that works better than that pack. I've got at least a few months data so far, and I can keep running this analysis of these ideas and temperatures until I have a really good workable system. And it's not often I can say that my bug out survival shelter is actually lighter than what I buy from a shop. That is crazy. That is crazy. So I'm going to finish my brew and get myself off, hit the trail. So until next time, take good care of yourself, and I will see you really soon.